hope this works as well, and I can start my introduction. I'm very pleased to be able to be here with all you English-speaking people. I'll make do as best as I can, but already my excuse for the not 100% command of your language. We indeed. My name is Bas Leerink. I'm a partner in a consulting firm in the Netherlands. Last year I was the chief executive of one of the large teaching hospitals in the Netherlands. Before that I've worked in health insurance as one of the large health insurers and was involved in healthcare procurement. And I started my career as a clinical chemist, so I've done a lot of different things. And maybe that was one of the reasons why since 4 years I'm part of the Council for Health and Society in the Netherlands. It's an independent council for the government, and we made this report that is already being talked about here. I will argue that there are many possibilities for EU governments to increase bargaining power in allowing new medicines to the health insurance package and to get a much better deal for society. Well, here's the council again. It's a completely independent 9-person council. We have a small staff of 15 people, so we are not the experts. We cannot be, because we have topics that we give advice on from debt financing for people that are really indebted in society, medicines, healthcare procurement. We talk about network care, so care that is delivered in much. So it's a broad subject of topics that we talk about, and because of our diversity in the council, that's actually what makes us unique in the Dutch network. We believe that in 2017 we had this is the report that we published. We worked on it for a year. It was a direct question from the Minister of Health because of issues we were increasingly having with high-priced medication, discussions about the pricing, discussion about the access, just as Michael also explained here in Ireland. It was actually hard work for us because in the beginning we had a lot of pushback. We gave a lot of pushback to the ministry because this essentially is not a Dutch problem. And we are a Dutch council. It's actually a global problem with a global system of drug development, and it's very hard to try to change that from the perspective of a small country close to the North Sea border. But nevertheless, at the end we accepted, and we came up with a set of recommendations. You can see them all here. For the sake of time, I'm going to spend my time on the one-nation strategies. There's other recommendations on the development process to involve patients earlier, to develop or encourage alternative development models that are being tried in the Netherlands. And on the end also the technology transfer to try to strengthen how universities ultimately develop and sell off their patents. Well, this is not new. I go quickly. You know all about it. It's actually the same examples that Michael just mentioned were all part of the debate in the Netherlands as well. In the Netherlands, we have like in many developed countries, we have a total budget for healthcare. That what are we willing to spend on all healthcare, long-term care, acute care, and medications. Actually, the aim is that total healthcare spend does not grow faster than our gross national product, which is a significant challenge, has been, but for the last couple of years we've managed to do so. But we've done this also at a cost. We saved money in nursing homes, we saved money in nursing salaries, we saved money in hospitals, and we allowed actually a lot of room for new medication and new technology to enter the market. And this cannot go on unlimited. So what can you do? Well, there's already, we sort of looked into the legal toolbox that we already have in the Netherlands or in Europe. Well, there's compulsory licenses. It's a well-known instrument. it's not it's not used that often. It is used. It's increasingly getting attention. And essentially, it's actually the moment a drug goes off patent, you move this moment earlier in time. That's what you do. So it's not something that is not possible. It's possible because it happens all the time. Medication goes off patent, and then generic producers start making this medication. So the only thing you do is you push this moment forward, or back in time. Then there is encouragement of pharmacy preparations. Pharmacists, probably also here in Ireland, they're trained to prepare medication. That's somewhat of a lost trade, but actually many of the medications we were having discussions about, like Orkambi, like Spinraza, they're not that complicated. It's actually not a very complicated medication. It's doable for well-equipped pharmacists to actually prepare this medication themselves, and there is a legal possibility to do so because the pharmacist has the right to prepare medication, even though it's under a patent, if he does that for his own patients. And then the third thing we said, well, you could also use or arbitrage price differences in Europe, but actually also worldwide, by giving patients access to internet shops for drugs. Obviously that has to be safe. That's a big concern, obviously, but now it's happening also, but it's happening illegally. So we claim that it's better to make this legal and then have a good platform to do this. And the last resort is that there is also competition laws in all countries, at least certainly in Europe. And some lawyers also argue that if you have a single drug and you have a clear need for this drug and the pricing is too high, you can claim that could be abuse of market power, and that is also a route you could try to use. And obviously we want to give advice that is also acted upon. The compulsory licensing, that's somewhat of a difficult topic for the government, because there is also a Ministry of Economic Affairs, and they are not that much in favor of this, but there is a committee working on it. The minister is getting more and more positive in his public speeches, so we still believe that there is some traction here, but it will be slow, like it's all over Europe. The pharmacy preparation, that is something that is already that has advanced very nicely. So the government has now given some legal advice on how, and also the Inspectorate of Health has given legal advice to pharmacists what exactly it means if you prepare this medication yourself. And that gives the pharmacist a lot more security, because they will get lawsuits, they will get problems with the people whose patents are being infringed, and so they need help and backup. They now have this. They have more backup from politicians, but also from the legal and health inspectorate. They now have a clear route that they can take to start doing this, and it's also happening in hospitals and in local pharmacies. This one is still, the Dutch Association for Innovative Medicines thinks this is very dangerous, and also the Health Inspectorate is still very critical about this. Politicians also are not believing that this is a route to go. But then there came a recent study by the Dutch Consumer Organization, and they showed that it is very easy to order medication already on the internet, and then it comes from unknown sources, from unknown countries, with unknown pharmacists, and actually also unknown contents. So then we wrote again a sort of an opinion paper in the newspapers to claim that it would be better to legalize this and make a good platform for patients to do this.